With Black Friday around the corner and as we approach the end of the year, a lot of companies and smartphone brands are having sales. So what I've done is I've put together a list of my top 5 smartphones that are out in the South African market at the moment that are under 5,000 Rand. This will be helpful in case you want to go out there and buy a smartphone on a budget and below the price of 5K. So stay tuned for my list. Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Lexi and this is 8th Avenue. On this channel, I talk about tech, news about tech, what's new in tech, do reviews, unboxings, everything tech related, specifically consumer goods from a South African perspective. And today's video is going to be a little bit different because it's not a review or an unboxing video, but rather I've taken some time out to do some research and look at the South African market and see what is out there for a South African buyer on a budget in terms of smartphones. So I've put together a list of 5 smartphones under 5,000 Rand that are currently in the South African market that may be worth your consideration if you are in the market to buy a new smartphone. Before we dive into the list of phones in this video, a little bit of a disclaimer and a few things to take into consideration as to how I put together this list. So number 1, it's only going to take into consideration phones that were released late last year, in the second half of last year, which is from June 2022 till the present, which is November 2023. Nothing before that will be considered. Secondly, I'm also only considering phones that are widely available in the South African market. So not just phones that can be purchased online, but you wouldn't find if you go into a Macro or a Pep Cell or something like that. And even though I am considering all the phones that are available in many retail outlets, I will be using the prices that are on Take A Lot as the baseline. So if you decide to go and further analyze the prices in stores, then the prices may be off by give or take 100 to 200 or even more, because around this time of year, everything is on sale anyway. And finally, this is not a review video, so I won't be getting into the in-depth specs and experience that I had with any of these devices, but rather it's based on research and the promises out there that these cell phone companies have given to us as the consumer. So it's basically a video of the top 5 phones under 5K that look good on paper. So enjoy, let's dive into it. Starting off strong at number 5, we have the Xiaomi Redmi 12. Not the Xiaomi Redmi Note 12 or the Xiaomi Redmi 12C. Oftentimes there's a confusion with these different phones because the names are very similar and they do have similar specs, but the price ranges are widely different. I'm talking about the Xiaomi Redmi 12. This phone dropped this year in June and goes for about 4,100 Rand. It's a good phone, big display of 6.79 inches. It has a 90 Hz refresh rate and a 1080p video screen resolution. Off the bat, it comes with 128 gigs of onboard memory, which can be expanded using an external memory card, and it has 4 gigs of RAM. It has a 3-camera setup at the back, which is a 50 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Then the front facing camera is 8 megapixels as well. It has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery and supports up to 18 watts of charging. It also comes with Android 13 and Xiaomi promises up to 2 years of software updates. So if you get it this year, you are guaranteed to get the software updates all the way till 2025. So that's a good thing. Sitting at number 4, we have a fan favorite and very trusted brand, the Samsung Galaxy A24. This phone also came out this year in April of 2023, and it goes for about 4,200 Rand. It has a glass front, plastic frame, and a plastic back as well. Different from the Redmi 12, the Samsung Galaxy A24 has a 6.5 OLED screen. So the display quality will be a lot better than that of the Redmi, allegedly. And it also has a 1080p screen resolution and a 90 Hz refresh rate. It has 128 gig onboard memory, 4 gig RAM, and it also supports expandable memory with an external memory card. It also has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery and supports up to 25 watts of charging, which is much better than that of the Redmi 12. It has a 3-camera setup at the back, which is a 50 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel ultra wide camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. And very nice is the front facing camera, which is 13 megapixel, also much better than that of the Redmi 12. Sitting comfortably right in the middle, we have our number 3, which is the Tecno Spark 10. It has a glass front, plastic frame, and a plastic back. It has an IPS LCD screen of 6.5 inches, also a 1080p screen resolution, as well as a 90 Hz refresh rate. Where it significantly beats our number 5 and number 4 is the RAM. It comes with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of onboard memory that is also expandable using an external SD card, micro SD card. It comes with the latest Android 13 operating system, and it has a 2-camera setup at the back, which is the 50 megapixel main camera as well as a 0.8 megapixel depth field camera. Then in the front we have an 8 megapixel camera. It also has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery that supports up to 18 watts of charging. Now we've come to our top 2, and at number 2, just making it into the list, is the Honor X7A. This phone dropped early this year, January 2023, and it costs right on the dot 5,000 Rand. It's a very good phone. It has a 6.75 inch display, 1080p screen resolution. A drawback would be that off the bat, it comes with Android 12, but that can be immediately upgraded as soon as you get the device. It still supports software upgrades. And then it also has 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of onboard memory, which can be expanded up to 1 terabyte. The reason why this phone is sitting at number 2 is hands down because of its camera. It has a 4-camera setup at the back with a 50 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel ultra wide camera, a 2 megapixel depth field camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. And it also has an 8 megapixel front facing camera. Besides its impressive camera setup, it also boasts having a really good battery. So on our list, it has the biggest battery of 6,000 milliamp hours, and it supports up to 22.5 watt charging. And on paper, it claims that the battery should last you at least 3 days, which I think for 5K, that is one hell of a bargain. And one really good bonus that is often overlooked is that the charging brick and the charging cable comes with the box when you purchase the phone. These days, because everyone is going green and we're trying to reduce cyber waste. Is it cyber waste? We're trying to reduce waste. Cell phone companies do not include the charging adapter or the charging brick in the box. So with the Honor X7A, you get the charging adapter as part of your purchase when you buy the phone. And finally, we get to our number 1. Drum roll, please, everybody. Beep, 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 beep. Come on, enthusiasm. Feel me. This is the number 1 phone on my list, And it's also the oldest phone on my list because it's the only phone that came out late last year in 2022. But it's also the most unconventional phone because you know that joke, what channel is WhatsApp? I think I've given away enough clues, but it's the Hisense Infinity H60. This is a great phone and it goes for 4,500 Rand. This phone has a 6.7-inch AMOLED display, 1080p screen resolution, and 90 Hz refresh rate. Standard, just like the other phones. But it does also have a bit of a drawback. It comes out of the box with Android 11. But as is the case with our number 2 phone, this can also be upgraded immediately to the latest Android 13. And just like the Tecno Spark 10, our number 3, off the bat, it comes with 8 gigs RAM and 128 gigs onboard memory. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't support expandable memory. But these days, with a lot of us purchasing our storage on the cloud, 128 should be enough for onboard memory. One of the things why it is at the number 1 spot is its charging capabilities. So it may also have the smallest battery in our list, which is 4,200 milliamp hours. It's also the only phone on the list that supports fast charging, up to 30 watts of fast charging. And just like our number 2, it comes with the charging brick and the cable out of the box. I know it may seem like a very small extra, but personally, I feel like that's a huge perk to get a charging cable and the adapter when you buy a phone. Yes, we are going green, but sometimes every now and then you may need those extras. It's also the only phone on our list that's 5G enabled. Remember when 5G used to scare us during COVID? I digress. Every other phone that I had just mentioned is only 4G enabled. So that's a nice perk as well. The main reason why the Hisense Infiniti H60 is at number 1 is because of the camera. It has a spectacular camera, and this is based on the reviews of individuals who've purchased this phone online, as well as the promises that Hisense has given us on paper on their website regarding the Infiniti H60. It also has a 4-camera setup at the back, starting with the 64 megapixel main camera that, using some software enhancements and upgrades, can be enhanced to 108 megapixel camera. They actually call it the AI camera. And then it has a 5 megapixel wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel depth field camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Then the front facing camera is 16 megapixel. If that's not a great camera setup, then I don't know what is. So that's it on my list of the top 5 phones in the South African market under 5K at the moment. And I do want to take a moment though to give a few honorable mentions to phones that just didn't quite make the list. The following 3 phones deserve an honorable mention, starting with the Huawei Nova Y70, the Vivo Y22, as well as the Oppo A57s. Those 2 are great phones. They just didn't make the cut, but they're also worth your consideration if you want a longer list around phones with this within 5K that you can probably consider purchasing. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you found the content valuable, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Follow 8th Avenue on social media, and I will see you guys next time. Sharp.